Hello everyone, welcome back. In this session, yet again, we do have a very special guest lecturer. I would like to introduce him, Mr. Chandra Mohan Gupta, who has more than 30 years of experience total in both teaching and corporate sector. Today, he is an assistant professor and pursuing his PhD from Shulini University, Himachal Pradesh. At the same time, he is a law officer and also admission in charge of School of Law at Shulini University itself. And he hails from one of those states of our country which is bestowed with pristine natural beauty, that is Himachal Pradesh. Sir, please start your presentation with a warm welcome to all our viewers, and we will keep our discussion in the context of rural entrepreneurship. Who is a rural entrepreneur? What is about rural entrepreneurship? What is about starting an rural entrepreneurial journey? We will keep our discussion in this context. So, sir, I would like to start our presentation with a question. My first question is, what are the characteristics of a rural entrepreneur and rural entrepreneurship?
Ankita, thanks for a warm welcome. And as the first question that you have given me is the characteristics of rural entrepreneurship. When we talk about rural entrepreneurship, the topic itself makes it very clear that we are talking about the rural India. And when we
Yes.
talk about rural India, there are certain characteristics which go along throughout India when we talk about any village of India. So maybe it is the resources, the literacy rate of people, the control, and the casteism. So these are certain characteristics that the rural India has. And when we talk about the characteristics of rural entrepreneurship, these all major factors play an important role. Whenever we go and check who are the exact or the budding entrepreneurs of rural India, we find that 60% of the people are those who were working in the corporate world and have come back to their villages. They are those people who say, sir, want to go back and be with the roots that is our village. Now, when we talk about characteristics, let's talk about in detail characteristics. First and the foremost thing about a rural entrepreneurship is that the funding is the situation over here. So the funds are over there, yes, but not as large as the multinationals have. So the scale or the model of the industry or the entrepreneur is low profile in the initial stages. But with the passage of the time, it grows, and it depends on whether that has been done in a systematic and a professional way or not. We have seen, personally, I have seen in Himachal a lot of startups coming up from the rural background, but couldn't sustain the pressure and the demand of the market. Why? Because the knowledge was not over there. People have the courage to start it, but they cannot actually pull the strings and connect every dot which is required for a successful entrepreneurship. So the first characteristic of rural entrepreneurship is that 60% of the people have come back from their jobs. Second, 40% of the people are those who were in the village itself and have thought that, okay, fine, we have to come out of the well and do something. Second characteristics of rural management is that 90% of these people are learned. They are literate. Only 10% of the people will find that, okay, fine, they don't have a proper education. But 90% of the people are nowadays on a scale, say, graduate a minimum requirement. But when we talk about the 60% of the people who are coming back from the corporate world, you'll be surprised that there are people who were 40 years into the corporate world and have come back and started a small scale industry. I have the example of Kodgar Bagicha, a small apple jam, or it can be said a food processing unit in Thanedar, that is near Narkanda. So you can actually Google it, Kodgar Bagicha. People settled in Singapore, came down to India, wanted to set up something for the rural India and decided to go for a food processing unit. So that is the characteristics. Indian industry in context with rural entrepreneurship is basically and importantly based on the raw material which is locally provided. So the second characteristic after the people is the raw material available. Why? Because we have to fundamentally use the locally produced raw material, then only we can actually fight with multinationals in terms of cost. Quality is not a problem, but cost and marketing of the product is really a problem for the rural entrepreneurship. So the second characteristic is the product itself, which is developed from locally available raw material. Third characteristic is quality. When we talk about locally procured raw material, the quality of the product will definitely be very high. Though the processing charges will be high, the operating cost will be high. Yes, that is a drawback. But when we talk about the quality product, you will find one of the best products produced in the rural India. So this is what is the characteristics of rural entrepreneurship. A low scale business, highly intelligent people coming back from the corporate world and setting up an industry which is locally sourced, even in human resources. These industries have given jobs and economic stability to a lot of rural India, and our villages are economically growing. So I think this is what is the characteristics of rural entrepreneurship.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. You have explained each of the characteristics in a very systematic manner, in a very simplified manner, and I am pretty sure that all our viewers have are now contemplating that that it would be really a very beautiful journey to start their entrepreneurial journey as a rural entrepreneur. Thank you
Yeah, it
so
is
much, sir,
always
for
said, Ankita,
explaining.
that the first step is the toughest. So to every viewer who is listening over there and who's a young and a budding entrepreneur, I just want to say that you have to take the first step, and the first step is the toughest. So please take your time. Step back twice. Doesn't matter if you have to step back twice, but when you take the leap, it should be the perfect one. Can we
Thank you
go
so
ahead with the
much, sir.
second question, Ankita?
Yes, sir. Yes, we can go ahead. I think my second question's answer is already there in the first question's answer. But still, in my second question is that how rural entrepreneurship is different from other types of entrepreneurship. Like as sir, you have explained the characteristics of rural entrepreneurship. Now our viewers have already got the basic differences between rural entrepreneurship and other types of entrepreneurship. But still, if you can explain the other types of entrepreneurship, then I think it will be more easy for
So
them to
I'll just
understand. And
briefly discuss the difference between rural entrepreneurship and corporate entrepreneurship when you say on a larger scale. So yes, I have discussed the points, but the first point is the scale. It is a small scale industry. You won't find multinationals coming into rural India. You won't find large scale enterprises also. What you'll find in rural India will be micro, small, or medium to the max. And when we talk about the nature of entrepreneurs, that whether it is locally owned or the people from the outside. So when we, it is just micro, medium, or small, which is being owned by the local people. But when we talk about large scale industries setting up in rural India, these are people who are investors who have invested inside the village. So no, I'm really sorry to say, but yes, it is a hard fact that villages don't have money. Right. The funding is a problem. Now the second thing is funds. Funding is a problem. From where would the person bring a 1 CR or 2 CRs or 5 CRs of amount? They don't, they need it. When it comes to rural India, the minimum investment that a person does in an industry is 1 lakh. Start is average is 1 lakh, and it can grow up to 50 lakhs, but it takes time. Why? Because rural India doesn't have funds. Yes, people who are coming from the corporate world, having living their lavish lifestyles and coming and setting up, yes, they can go for a medium scale industry, but a large scale industry, sorry, that is not possible for them also. So the second difference is on the basis of funding. The funding is low when it comes to rural India, but funding is high when it comes to corporate or the economic zones of India. Then comes the third point, that is government policies which is being supporting these industries. The government policies for the rural India are majorly for micro, small, medium, not even for the
Yes,
large one.
yes,
Not major
yes,
policies are over there.
yes,
So
that's
when
true,
it
sir.
comes to policies, government has to think, yes, if person from a particular area wants to set up a industry, the policies to be designed in such a way that we are economically lifting the rural India and we are actually giving employment generation to the people who are locally available. So that is when government policies have to play a very major role. So this is the difference when it comes to rural entrepreneurship and your big cities. Then comes the human resource. Now the next is
Yes,
human resource. So
yes,
when we talk about rural entrepreneurship, we don't have that particular skill set people in rural industries. Yes, we
yes, sir.
have, but not high scale. So the skill, the knowledge is over there, the human resource power is over there. So these are certain differences that come in. Then when we talk on a larger scale, we have a marketing model. So rural entrepreneurships don't have marketing model. But when we talk about big companies, they have a particular marketing model designed and defined for their working. So these are the different characteristics we can actually work on. So five different points: scale, funds, government policies, your human resource, and marketing. So five differences which can be taken into account when we talk about small scale industries and large scale industries or rural entrepreneurship. So whether
Thank you
major
so
are
much,
over
sir.
there. Yes,
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Once again, you have explained in a very systematic manner, like each and every point you have explained in such a beautiful manner that I don't think any doubt would be left in anyone's mind. Uh, sir, two questions just now arose in my mind after listening to you.
yeah.
First is, like you said, that there is a issue of funding in the rural areas. So, sir, how
Yes.
this funding issue can be tackled? Uh,
Uh, Ankita, two things come hand in hand. First is the policies. If the
hmm,
government policies are supporting, the banks won't have any problem in lending money.
hmm, hmm,
But when we talk about the mortgage issue or the security, that would be an issue for a young entrepreneur to give. If a person goes with a 3 CR project to a bank and he doesn't
yes.
have a single penny in his pocket, they are not going to fund him at any cost. But if there is a policy of the government where the person can actually approach the government with a project,
Hmm.
get it sanctioned from the government, and then go. So over here, the policies are very important. If right policies are over there, right
Hmm.
opportunity to the right person can be given. So policy-driven funding should be there. It shouldn't be
Policy
that a
driven.
person with the big pockets go to the bank and ask for money. We have large examples of that. Nirav Modi has taken away 10,000 crore rupees, which
Yes.
is still as funding. So giving people money to the people
Yes.
who have large pockets is not the right solution at this moment. We have to trust the gut feel of the small investors who are ready to give their life for a single project.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's very true, sir. And yeah, that sir, you have said from the context of the policymakers. Can
Yes.
you say, sir, something in context from the other side, like from what those rural people should do, what those rural entrepreneurs should do, what should be their initiatives?
They have a problem of knowledge. I'm not talking
Okay.
about the degrees they hold. Sorry.
Okay, sir.
Knowledge about the policies which have been made and designed in such a way by the government that that can be
Mhm.
used to increase the working.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
the information flow or the communication gap between the people is a major
Okay.
drawback. People don't even know
Okay,
whether
sir.
which policy is in favor of them or which is not. That is a
Mhm.
problem. So this is
Hmm.
people want to have a knowledge.
Lack of awareness.
Yes.
Lack of awareness. And there comes the role of, sir, those
The
professionals to.
the NGOs, the FPOs, the government bodies, which have to come forward
Yes.
and they have to
Yes.
inform people, okay, fine, this policy is available. Why didn't you take an advantage of it? And these
Yes, yes.
advantages, mark my words, I'm really sorry to say, but
Yes,
highly
yes, yes.
influential people from the society take these advantages.
That's true, sir.
Right?
That's
The lower strata
it's
doesn't get even know, don't even know that such policies are available.
yes. We can say we should learn to accept certain harsh realities. Like sometimes we don't feel like to talk about certain harsh realities. We feel
But
that this
in
might sound
principle, we have to accept. We have to
yes,
accept that.
yes. Yes, yes. We feel sometimes that this might be politically very, this might sound politically weird, politically controversial, but it's fine. This is 21st century. This is this centuries of youth. This centuries of social media, powerful social media. So it's okay. It's totally fine to accept certain realities, and when we will start talking about those harsh realities, then only we will be able to tackle those issues.
Yes,
Then only we will be able to find the right solution. And
true,
sir, my
true.
again one more thing I want to ask, sir, an additional thing, that
Yes,
does India really need large scale industries, like we like
yes.
post independence most of our 5 year plans were inclined towards uh, most of those large scale industries and all, but does India really
India,
need that?
yes, India needs, but it should be in a hand-in-hand combination of every scale. Large-scale
Okay,
industries we need for the volume. Yes, volume is
okay,
to be over.
okay,
But not
okay,
every place, every segment of the industry or every segment of the economy, a large-scale industry is required.
okay, okay,
Because
but
sometimes
sir.
it depends on the raw
Hmm.
material also.
Yes, sir.
If we say we'll have a door to day or a village to village car supply, and every village will develop its own car, won't be possible. Why? Economically it is not possible. The cost of production will go so high that you won't be able to buy that product. So massive industries or large scale industries are required, need of the hour. Practicality is over there, so we have to think economically also. But
Yes,
when
sir.
we talk about small scale industries, we have to talk about the locally procured raw material, which actually loses 90% of it or 60% of it during transportation. We have to save that. If
Yes,
India is producing N number or X number of a certain vegetable, and we can reduce the wastage to 9% or 10%, we'll be actually able to change the circle of inflation.
yes, sir.
The weighted index and the inflation will come down. Why? Because the shelf life would be over there. The raw material production and conversion will, the cost of conversion will be very low. So we have to find certain industries which are to be locally developed, and certain should be large scale, no questions about it.
Okay, sir. I got it, sir. Like focusing only in one part is not enough because that won't lead to inclusive development.
Yes,
And the reason we need inclusive development is to justify our GDP. Like we do
we
have
have to
the
check
yes,
each and everything. We have to check the primary
yes,
sector, manufacturing sector, and tertiary sector. So if
yes,
we are only and only concerned about the primary sector, it won't benefit us. We have to see the all stratas. So when we are working along and hand in hand, the question is hand in hand, we have to accept it that we cannot keep everything to ourselves. We have to let go of certain things. So we have to give privilege to other people. Okay, fine, you do it. Let's make this world a better place.
yes, yes. Definitely. Definitely. Inclusive development is really needed, and that
Needed.
it's not just about being a philanthropist, it's not just about doing great things. Yes, that things are needed, but inclusive development is needed for our practical implications as well, because inclusive development will increase our GDP, will attract more and more foreign investors, and it will finally India will be a developed country. It won't be a developing country anymore when we
Yeah.
will achieve
So
inclusive development.
in a very simple and a subtle economic term, If we increase the per capita income of the rural India, we will increase the per capita of whole of the country. We don't have to think that we have to increase the volume and the turnover of the industries to give an increase in the per capita of every individual. Let's increase the per capita income of rural India where 60% of the population lives and see that what impact it will make to the total GDP of the country.
Yes, yes, definitely, sir, definitely. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, the next question is, sir, that and what sort of innovations rural India requires? Like here, I'm not asking about just those so-called 21st century technological innovation like AI, Internet of Things. I'm also asking about other innovations like other manual innovations, social innovations. Can you describe, sir, in a very general manner, in an overall manner, that what sort of innovations our need, rural India
Sure.
needs?
So when we talk about innovation, the first thing that the rural India has to do is stop brain drain from the villages. We have to stop youngsters leaving villages and going out to work on petty
Migration.
scale, right? So migration is the answer to it. Bright minds have to come back to village.
Yes, it has come, sir.
Yeah.
It has
So the
come.
skilled people when come back and they work for the village,
Hmm.
it will increase the confidence. It will increase the knowledge base.
Yes.
When a learned person comes and sits with the people, two things happen. Whether first, he can actually convert everyone into a learned person. Second, he can become them. Over here, we need the first one, that people who are learned, who have industry tie-ups and knowledge and corporate exposure, these people have to come back. These people have to understand that locally this is the best thing that can be done in this particular area. I'm talking about block level development over here, village, and then block level. If certain developments in a village can be shifted on a larger scale to the block level, it will help. It will definitely help. So innovation is not about getting the best of the industries technology into the village. No, it doesn't need that. We need to have the ecosystem right. We need to protect the sanctity of the villages. And for that, we have to have small scale industries in a beautifully carved atmosphere where nature is protected, and then the product that comes out goes on the next level. I'm not talking about that it should be an end product. Yes, the villages could have a semi-finished good, which is a work in progress or a raw material for the end product industry. It can be a multinational. So what we are trying to do is we are actually reducing the wastage which was done in the transportation and the time lag between the transportation and increasing it. So innovation in my terms is getting the best out of in the villages itself or the block level so that the wastage comes down. And when the wastage comes down, innovation is already over there.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Innovation is something it I don't know, but I don't know it is the case with only me or everyone. But whenever we hear the term innovation, the first thing which comes in my mind usually is that technology. But innovation is not just limited to technology. In a developing country, in a diverse country like India, we need innovation in every matter. We need innovation in our social life. We need innovation in our economic aspect. And this migration issues are, if I'm not wrong, can we consider this issue as a an issue which is a combination of social come economic issue where
Yes,
we
it
need
is
uh,
it is the reason. But I would thanks to COVID.
yes.
I'll give you a simple number. I have met a lot of friends of mine who have come back from the Delhi NCR area who
Mhm.
were settled over there in good corporate jobs. But because of the COVID situation, a few of them lost their job, a few of them left their jobs and came back to the villages. And then now they are planning that we won't go back, we'll establish something over here and we'll make this village a heaven. So
Yes, sir.
this blessing in disguise, yes. If you go around and see the villages at this moment, I was
Yes, sir.
driving 20 kilometers yesterday. I was on a drive. So I could
Yes, sir.
see, though rainy season, greenery is at its peak in Himachal. But this year, we have seen lush green farms, which were not over there in the last 2 years. Why? Because everybody is back home. They are investing their time in the fields and they have actually made it greener than ever. I think if you go into the rural India any day, anywhere in this at this time, if it is not waterlogging, you'll find that India is greener. The production is all-time high this year. The quality of food is very high. And why is it so? Because every kid who was a migrant labor is back in the village, working hard in the fields and making his living over there. Something
Thank you
blessing
so
in
much.
disguise. COVID.
Definitely, sir. It's even yeah, lots of problems have arose during this COVID-19. Like many, like we are worrying about this COVID-19, but many people are suffering and dying also just because of
Yes.
hunger. So yeah, but still, if privileged people like you and me, privileged people like our viewers, if we take the right steps, if we plan our career in such a manner that can help along with helping us, it can help our rural fellows as well. Then definitely it
Yes.
is we can prove this that COVID-19 is a blessing in disguise. And yeah,
True.
apart from COVID-19, there are so many other challenges that have been in our country since time immemorial, like like other natural disaster, like the issue of flood, which we have also witnessed in this COVID-19 situation in states
Yes.
like Bihar, Kerala.
Yeah.
So
There
for
are Bihar,
yes, sir.
Kerala. Yes.
So, so for such issues also, sir, we do need innovation, if I'm not wrong, sir. And in that case, we need some technological innovation and as well as social innovation as well. And through social innovation, we can change the mindset of people. And sir, and the mindset must be, it's not just about the mindset of our rural people. It's also about those people like who are bringing so many innovations. There can be some corporate giants that can there can be some any scientists like because sir innovations, yeah, it is good, but innovation should be in such a manner that would assure us of sustainability. So for that reason, sir, I want to ask you something about like as you're from Himachal Pradesh, sir. So for that reason, I thought to ask you about him, Mr. Sonam Wangchu. He is
Yeah.
one such scientist who is it would be I feel if I'm not wrong, it would be very demeaning to call him just a scientist. He is beyond that if I'm not wrong, sir.
Uh, Ankita, I actually, when I heard about Sonam Wangtu, it was 6 years back.
Yes, sir.
And when I came to know about his work, so I came to know about the ice stupas that he have developed. Then I came to know about how he is giving back to the nature. He cycles
Yes.
6 kilometers from his school to his university every day.
Yes, sir.
He has electric car. He's developing his area in such a way that he's trying to make it greener, cleaner.
Yes, sir.
Though it
Yes,
is a
sir.
white desert over there because the temperature is extreme. If you
Hmm.
go and check a website of Sonam Wangtu, you'll find that 90% of the university is on renewable natural sources.
Yes.
So what I in personal terms or in my personal opinion, I consider a Sonam Wangtu be a monk.
Monk.
He's the one person who is in complete harmony with the nature.
Yes.
He is not trying to do anything to harm the nature, but he's trying to
Yes.
find out a possible outcome of two
Yes.
different difficulties. Like water was a scarcity and temperature was a extreme condition of that particular area. So he just clubbed the two adversities and created a marvel that was Istupa.
Yes. Yes.
And if you're not in harmony with the nature, nature doesn't give you signals. Nature
Yes.
doesn't provide you with solutions which are
Yes.
over there. So calling Sonam Wangtu a scientist, yes, technically rational people,
Mhm.
intelligent people, learned people will call
Hmm.
him a
Scientist.
intelligent researcher or a scientist. But
Mhm.
when you talk about a person who's just grounded to the roots, you call this person a walking monk, a one
Yes.
person who is actually looking beyond what a ordinary man can see,
Yes.
trying to find the solutions of local problems with the local resources. Sonam Wangtu is a complete solution when it comes of an example that you have to find right situation for an
Hmm.
adversity and
Yes,
make
sir.
it an opportunity. So this is what Sonam Wangtu according to me is.
Yes, sir.
Personally, I
Like,
want to meet him. Personally,
yeah.
personally, I want to go and talk to him. But
Yes, sir.
maybe time and the divine intervention is not over there. So definitely, when life takes me to him, I have a lot to ask.
Seriously, sir, I will really wish for you that I will really pray for you that that you can meet him as soon as possible. And I do like to meet him someday. And I think every youth of our nation must meet him at least once in their lifetime, because that will they in that way everyone will get a reflection regarding the true meaning of innovation when it is about a developing and diverse country like India. And so, sir, just I want to ask some more thing about him only, that like
Sure.
his role as a what are the what just you have answered the other other questions in a very systematic manner, in a very chronological manner. So just in that same way, can you, sir, explain his role of bringing an overall growth and development in his region? Sir, I'm just I was asking that just the way you explained the previous questions, you explained the previous answers like in a very chronological and systematic manner. So I just want to ask one more time that what are the roles, what roles he played, Mr. Sonam Wangchu, to bring an overall growth and development in his region, in rural areas, and as an innovator, as a and how
But
he has.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
I won't be able to justify this question of yours, but I'll try to just give you what I know about Sonam.
Yes, sir.
So Sonam came into picture with his technological innovations that he did.
Yes, sir.
There were people who were talking about him. There were people who were talking about the smartness that his work had and how he incorporated the natural resources in such a way that things were in his favor. Istupa came as an eye opener to everyone. People came to know about him. People came to know about who Sonam is. Then some of the development was given by the movie Three Idiots, though he refused that he was not in that. He is not based, but people tried to connect Sonam Wangtu to Phunsukh Wangdu. Even I used to
Yes,
think,
one.
but surprisingly, when I went through the internet and found different things in there, I found that okay, fine, he has said that I'm not the character, but yes, he actually was the inspiration for the character. This is what we can say. Then came that he found that okay, government policies are in favor of establishing education institutes. He started with the school and then he shifted to a university.
Yes,
Why?
sir.
Because he never wanted the bright and the budding students of that particular area where 6 months there is no light, snow covered area, and he provided them 100% natural resource powered university and a school. Over here, Sonam took the advantage of the government policies.
Yes, sir.
He took his name and fame into account. Yes, definitely he would have. Otherwise, nobody would have given him the funding
Yes, sir.
and the resources.
Yes,
And
sir.
he step by step created what people never thought of doing in that particular area.
Yes, sir.
He solved two or three problems. First was he provided teaching opportunity to the people who were learned over there. And he
Yes, sir.
asked the best of the minds of that particular area to come back and teach in those schools. Though, and people loved it.
Mhm.
Second came the university. He again approached the best of the people who were working in different universities around the world to come back and
Mhm.
work in that particular area. People have
Mhm.
readily joined hands with him. So this is
Mhm.
how Sonam has started working it. And this is what I have heard and read about him. I'm not 100% sure that it is justification to your question, but I've tried to
No,
find out what the things were. And maybe I'm wrong in certain things with what I have said. But what I
not an
personally
issue.
feel, Sonam took nature, his learnability, his knowledge into account, made it an opportunity, became a scientist, came into limelight with ice stupas, took the opportunity that he had, merged it with the government policies, and started something for society. He gave
Mhm.
back society what he had, his
Mhm.
knowledge.
Mhm.
So this is what Sonam has done.
Mhm. And seriously, sir, these contributions are really great. And sir, what's your view about this automation thing? Like, there are certain studies and research work which state that due to automation, due to this AI, many people will lose their job. And okay, our as our context is here rural entrepreneurship and rural areas, so we will keep our discussion in that context only. So will that happen? How this automation will affect our rural industries, rural entrepreneurship, and rural entrepreneurs?
AI will definitely affect the people who are technologically very strong. The jobs of people who are not connected to the roots will definitely go away.
Mhm.
But when it comes to AI, it is going to help the farmers. But AI and innovation cannot do the farming.
Yes.
If we say that plucking of the plants or fruits from the trees, I'm really sorry, but cannot be done by AI at this moment. Yes, they can tell you the right time to pluck the plant, fruit from the plant, but they cannot do it.
Yes, sir.
So
So,
when it comes to
yes, sir.
rural India or rural entrepreneurship, the basic thing is we have to stick to the roots. Yes, AI is going to be a big advantage. Why? Because they'll be telling about how to get the best fruit by studying the data which is available. But
Yes.
practical implementation of that particular is to be done by humans itself. We
Yes.
cannot have
Yes.
robots everywhere. Yes, with the
Yes.
passage of time, maybe they come, but they cannot replace the human effort and the emotions that come along. It is rightly said if the person's intentions are really, really nice, the produce of that farmers is far high than the best of the technological
Mhm.
development tools can give you. So it is the
So
right
it's
intent.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's all about the usage, sir.
Yes,
How we use it. So if
yes.
we use it in a right manner, then it will increase the efficiency and
AI
effectiveness.
is definitely going to help us. Definitely going to
Huh.
help us. But yes,
Yes.
impacting rural entrepreneurship, I don't think so.
Yes.
Not at this moment.
Okay.
Big industries, yes, it is going to.
Yes. So in context of rural entrepreneurship, the I don't think our rural entrepreneurs and rural entrepreneurship are are any kind of at risk in any are any kind of
No,
risk
it
due
is
to
an
this
advantage. At this moment, at this particular period of time, AI is definitely going to help rural entrepreneurship.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I hope our future generation, our youngsters, will as these days our youngsters are so much tech savvy, and I hope they all will really really go ahead and with their technological knowledge, they will really bring in great growth and development in our rural areas. And sir, here we can conclude our session if you want, sir. And if you want to say some
Sure.
more things to our viewers, then sir, please.
Just out of humor, I have something to say that technology is actually given laptops, desktops,
Yes.
mobiles to the youngsters, but they cannot eat them,
Yes, definitely.
right? So when the food cannot be replaced, you can have multiple vitamins, but the real food is still grown on the land. So I would
Yes.
conclude it over here.
Mm. Yes, definitely, sir. And today, these days, our youngsters are really very sensible. I can feel that, sir. From yes, there are good and bad in everything and everywhere, but still,
Pros
everything
and cons
we
are
can
over there,
review.
but
Yes,
yes, we have a brilliant young generation coming up who
we are the young,
understands that,
youthful
yeah,
country.
yes. So we have a lot of people who will be facing problems, but yes, there are things that will change with the passage of time.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. I really, I'm really, really sure our viewers have thoroughly enjoyed this session, and they really have got lots of things to contemplate, and they can really shape a great career for themselves. And sir, thank you once again. And here I'm concluding this session. And dear friends, we'll meet in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankita. God bless you. Take care.
Thank,
God bless you.
thank you, sir.